Welcome to Comicstorian, where you get audio dramas of your favorite comic books. Absolute Power is a DC event featuring Amanda Waller, Queen Brainiac, and Failsafe that we have been teased with over the past year. Sadly, Benny isn't able to read it to you all, but I know he'd want you to have up-to-date stories, and since Absolute Power #1 comes out today, I figured this would be the perfect time to do the prologue, Absolute Power Ground Zero. I hope I can do Benny proud and give you guys a great story. Trees whip past as Jay Nakamura runs headlong through the forests of Gamora, his home nation. He looks back, trying to see his pursuers, but bullets rip through the trees, passing through him as he uses his powers to phase. He doesn't know why they are chasing him, just that they killed his mother and are now after him. He passes through another tree, unaware that someone is watching him, targeting where his foot meets the ground when he isn't phasing. The shot rings out and strikes through his ankle, and Jay lets out a scream of pain as he falls to the ground, shocked that the sniper knew where to target. He looks up to see a friendly face. "Dreamer?" he says with excitement and a small bit of relief, not noticing the look of sadness on her face. "Should have known you'd show up. Nothing gets past you," Jay says with joy. He struggles to his feet and prepares to flee with his friend. But Dreamer's dream energy wrap around his wrists and stops him from phasing. Jay turns back, not understanding. "Please, don't make me hurt him," Dreamer says to the shooter as he steps out of the woodline. "You know what to do, kid," the shooter orders. Realizing that he's been betrayed, Jay rushes forward and tries to fight Dreamer, but she hits him hard in the chest, knocking him into the world of dreams. Later, Jay awakens in the brig of a US destroyer. Jay sits against the wall, still reeling from being betrayed and the death of his own mother. Eventually, an apple is thrown in front of him. "Sorry, it's all I could get," Dreamer says from the other side of the bars. Jay glares at her. "Nia, why am I here? Why does Waller want me?" Jay demands. Nia looks away in frustration. "She didn't tell me. I've only been able to see bits and pieces," she says. Nia tries to explain to Jay that she had no choice, that Waller kidnapped her family and threatened to kill them if she didn't help the Suicide Squad. "If I don't do exactly what she wants, she's going to kill them," Nia says, trying to make Jay understand. But he looks up at her. "They killed my mom too," he says softly. He stands, and anger begins to fill his voice as he shouts at her, pointing out that she merely traded her family's death for his. "I tried to do the right thing. I really did," Nia says, with tears in her eyes. "I can't believe how selfish you are. You chose your people over mine, and you expect me to forgive you?" Jay grabs a hold of the bars, shouting at her. "I swear, I will get out of here, and I will make you pay for what you did," Jay snaps at her. Nia walks away from the cell, with Jay's shouts of anger echoing through the corridors. Nia joins Waller in the Situation Room, glaring at her, promising to herself that Waller will pay for this, that she won't be safe behind her threats and blackmail. Nia's hands curl into fists as she makes this promise. John Starr is dead, and his body lays on a slab. Energy suddenly swirls around him, and he suddenly becomes young again. John sits up with a gasp to find Amanda Waller standing nearby, holding an hourglass that emits the energy. "Time, Commander. Welcome to the Suicide Squad," she says with a smile. John thanks her for bringing him back with his hourglass, but asks why she would do such a thing. Waller motions him to follow her and leads him through the compound. "I need your expertise and your device. I'm told it can reverse things in a broken state. I wasn't even sure if it would work on your corpse," Waller says. She stops for a moment to pour herself a cup of coffee, and eventually she leads John into a massive lab. Now, you're going to tell me why it isn't working on this, Waller says as she motions to the failsafe robot. John looks at the robot in awe, reaching out a hand for it. It's crackling with energies I've never seen before. They're causing an interference, John says. Waller nods, explaining the history of failsafe and how it was used against Batman. I need it brought back online. We'll give you any tools you need. Succeed, and I'll give you a new lease on life, Waller says. John agrees, but he knows the truth of Amanda Waller. He's heard stories of her vicious nature. He needs to buy time and begins to work, doing what he can to alter his chronal hourglass to fix failsafe. But in reality, he is building a time device, something that will allow him to escape. Finally, he only needs a few things. He bangs on the door and Waller's gunman answers. I need new supplies, John says, rattling off some tools that he makes up on the spot. The guard sighs and shakes his head. I don't see that in the system, he notes. Just take me to the vault and I'll get what I need, John says. And the guard finally agrees and leads John through the compound. In the vault, John begins to rummage through the tools, trying to find something useful while the guard orders him to hurry up. Finally, he picks up a strange-looking screwdriver. What's that? Some sort of screwdriver? The guard asks. John nods and turns on him, stabbing him with the electronic device. Yeah, tightens components and fuses them with an electric current, John shouts as energy runs through the guard's body. With the guard knocked out, John begins to move quickly, gathering what he needs so that he can finish his time device. And as the guard comes to and opens fire, John activates the device and disappears through time. But when he snaps back to the past, he is surprised to find himself in another cell? Where am I? I'm supposed to be in Arizona in 1312, John says to himself. He looks outside the cell to see himself walking through the compound with Amanda Waller. His eyes widen as he sees her show his past self the failsafe robot. When Amanda finally leaves the past John, she walks into the room with his cell. Hello, Mr. Starr. Sorry to keep you waiting. I needed to chat with your past self, she says with a smile. John is confused, but Waller explains that they have chronal rerouting devices within the building that will only allow John to time travel in this area to trap him. Now, since you've already studied failsafe for the past 5 days, let's put all your knowledge to good use, Waller says. And so, John begins to work, using his knowledge to modify his hourglass and bring failsafe back to life. And eventually, the robot's eyes light up once again. Waller steps back and admires John's work with a smile. What now? Am I free to go? John asks her. But Waller shakes her head and leads him into another room. Oh, Mr. Starr, you're far too valuable for that. Your work is just beginning, Waller says, motioning to the room full of Amazo robots. Now that you've modified your hourglass to work on robots, I need 6 more just like it, Waller tells him. The Brainiac ship explodes somewhere in the vastness of space, but a rocket blasts away from the explosion, with a course set for Earth. The ship lands somewhere in the frozen lands of the North, where it is discovered by the leader of Task Force X. Waller looks down at the crashed ship with her guards standing nearby. The canopy suddenly opens with a hiss, revealing the female-shaped android within, the creature known as the Brainiac Queen. Not what I was expecting, Waller admits. Heavy feet crunch through the snow behind her, and Waller turns to see Failsafe approaching. He reaches out a hand towards the Queen, his scans linking with her. That is Brainiac technology. Its escape from the Hive ship has drained it, But there is still some life left in its power core, Failsafe tells her, his head cocked to the side. Curious, there are no AI drives. Its data files are blank, Failsafe says. Waller nods and leans down. A blank slate, she whispers. She turns away, ordering her guards to bring the android back to base. We need to move quickly before Superman learns of this. We need to learn everything we can about our strange visitor, including how to control it, Waller says. Later, the Queen, now in the body of a young girl, awakens on a small farm. She is surprised and springs out of her bed. Moving through the house, she discovers Waller in the kitchen, making pancakes. Good morning. I hope you got some rest. You had quite the journey, Waller says, offering the Queen pancakes. But the young girl just hisses at her. But Waller manages to calm her though. I know what happened to you, and I know you were taken from your creator, but I'm here to help, Waller says. But the house is suddenly bathed in red light. Damn, the alien found us, Waller hisses. She steps out on the front porch to find Superman hovering before the house, his eyes blazed red. Give her to me now, Waller. She must be destroyed, Superman shouts. But Waller quickly draws her gun and blasts Superman with energy, and the Man of Steel suddenly disappears with a scream of pain. Waller looks back to the Queen, who is cowering in fear. Superman will be back, and he won't be alone. We need to build a plan to defend ourselves, to train, Waller says. Years pass and the two become close. Waller teaches the Queen to read and write, to speak English. She protects her from the Justice League, who comes to try and destroy them. Waller teaches the Queen that the heroes are truly evil. And after 20 years, Waller has become an old woman. She looks to the Queen as the two sit on the front porch and tells her that it is time. Do we have to leave? We are safe here, the Queen asks. Waller smiles and tells her that they need to make the whole world safe, that they can't be selfish. Failsafe, unplug me, Waller orders. In the real world, Failsafe deactivates the machine and Waller sits up. Ugh, how long? She gasps. 20 hours for 20 years, Failsafe tells her. He suggests that they run more scans to make sure the programming took effect, but Waller shakes her head and orders them to unplug the Queen. As the machines hiss and deactivate, the Queen is released from her stasis pod. She steps out and regards Waller. Let us save the world, Mother. Those who would hurt us with power do not deserve it, the Queen says. Waller smiles at her. Of course, my dear. And so, the power drain begins in Absolute Power, on sale now at your local comic shop. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like. Let me know what you thought down below. I really hope I did this good by you guys, and I really hope I made Benny proud. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time with the next part of Absolute Power. Rest in peace, Benny.